What's up, everyone? We're going to be going to the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now, I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong, got 20 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 95% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $6,250 just yesterday, and another member who won $1,125 for the 5th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Janzaman8338 who said won myself $120. So shouts out to him, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick, and when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is none other than Stephen Castle, and this one is actually for 6.5 assists, and this one is for less. Now, looking at Stephen, we've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, but I do also have to mention that when it comes to some of these games, this actually were from last season, so we are very early on into the season, but we do actually know that Stephen Castle and the San Antonio Spurs have themselves a very good matchup against New Orleans Pelicans. Now, if we're going off, the last 5 games from this season, we'd actually only look at the most recent game, which is on October 23rd against Dallas, where he had 6 assists. But we actually did see Stephen Castle get 6 assists, which is under the line, and now they face off against the New Orleans Pelicans coming into this next matchup. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams. Now, looking at where both these teams do lie, obviously it is still very early on in the season, but Spurs do currently rank 2nd in the actual NBA, especially in the Western Conference to be more specific, and they actually have 1 win under their belt. Now, obviously, this is going to be their 2nd game. A lot of teams do already have 1 win, so it does really come down to points for and against, which is why they currently do rank 2nd, but they face off actually against none other than the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, when we look at the Pelicans did lose their first game, and they actually fall in the 12th spot in the Western Conference as well. So, obviously, there is a little bit of discrepancy between these two teams when it comes ranking-wise, but obviously, it is also early on in the season. So, there's also that thing to take into consideration as well. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know when it comes to New Orleans Pelicans, we did see when it came to that actual first game they did play, we actually saw that the Pelicans did actually rank pretty high, as they actually ranked tied 8th when it came to actually assists allowed. So, we are expecting a similar situation coming into this next matchup, and for that reason, we do very much like the under. Pelicans did actually do a pretty intense job when it came to defending the assists. They like to slow the ball down and slow the pace down for opposing teams, and they actually did do a great job in the assist department. So we are expecting a similar situation coming into this next one. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for Stephen Castle. The 6.5 assists for less, I think, is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about another great player, and that is none other than Carlton Carrington. So Carlton Carrington, great player for Washington, and this one is actually for 4.5 assists. So this one's another assist one, and this one is for less. Now, when we look at Carlton, we've actually seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, but similar to mostly, the last pick and also to the rest of these picks, the most recent game is actually the only game from this season, and that was on October 23rd, faced off against Milwaukee and had 2 assists there. Now, Carlton Carrington actually had 4.5 assists, or that's his line, apologies, but not only is that his line, but it is significantly above, what he actually did achieve in that matchup against Milwaukee. Now, Washington do face off against Dallas Mavericks in this next matchup. Now, it is definitely going to be a great one, but also looking at where these two teams rank, we do know that Washington have started the season off in a pretty, poor fashion, unfortunately, but currently ranked 12th with actually one loss under their belt. Now, when you also look at that, you also do see that Wizards face off against Dallas, where Dallas did actually, have a bit of trouble in their actual first game, and they actually rank 15th when it came, to that first game. So they actually have one loss under their belt, and it puts them in the 15th spot due to that points for and against sort of system. But it is still very early on in the season, and looking at where actually Dallas Mavericks did rank when it came to defending assists, we actually did see Dallas Mavericks do a pretty good job. They actually are tied and currently ranked 10th when it came to assists allowed. So they are in the top half, and we definitely see that being enough to see someone like Carlton Carrington go on the under there. Especially since we saw in that first matchup, for this season, we actually did see, Carlton Carrington have a little bit of less usage rate than we were expecting. And we are expecting sort of a similar situation coming into this next matchup, no doubt about it. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Carlton Carrington coming into this game. I see a lot of value there to go on the under. So, when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So Carlton Carrington, 4.5 assists, 4 less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about Evan Mobley. So Evan Mobley, great player, as we all know, and this one is actually for rebounds for 9.5, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Evan Mobley, we actually have seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5, but the most recent game is the only game from this season, and we actually did see him get 8 rebounds against New York Knicks on October 23rd. Now, Cleveland do face off against Brooklyn, and it is going to be an exciting matchup for sure. Now, looking at where both these teams do rank, Cleveland actually did lose their first game, so they currently rank 11th in the Eastern Conference, and they face off against Brooklyn Nets. Now, Brooklyn Nets do currently rank 13th with one loss under their belt as well, so one of these teams are going to get their first win of the actual season. Now, when it comes to this matchup, we do also see that when it actually comes to Evan Mobley, we do know that he is a big rebounder for this team. But facing off against Brooklyn, we do know Brooklyn actually ranked very high when it comes to restricting rebounds in that first matchup. They actually did rank a 6 or tied 6 at that. And because of that, we definitely see that being enough to see someone like Evan go on the under here. Now, when it came to Evan Mobley as well, we also did notice that when it came to this matchup, we do know that, we have seen his usage rate be a little bit on the lower side when it came to the rebounding sector due to new additions and new sort of strategies in this team. And we are expecting a similar situation like what happened in New York Knicks for this next matchup against Brooklyn Nets. So for that reason, we are definitely keeping an eye out for the under for this situation for someone like Evan Mobley, as we see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially, with the way that things have been going, especially from that first game. And with also Brooklyn Nets being a great defending team when it came to rebounds. So Evan Mobley, 9.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Devin Booker. Now, as you all know, Devin Booker, great player from none other than Phoenix Suns, and he's done a fantastic job so far this season. Now, he is technically averaging 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and has a 52.6% field goal percentage. But on top of that, there is only been one game that has been played for them. So obviously, Devin Booker has had a great first game against Sacramento Kings, was able to really put up points, rebounds, and assists, and was also able to get that win. Now, Phoenix Suns do find themselves in a very good matchup against the LA Clippers, which is definitely going to be an exciting game. And looking at where both these teams do lie, we actually did see Suns win their first game and actually puts them 7th in the actual Western Conference. On the other side, Clippers didn't do so well as they lost their first game and actually are currently ranked 14th. And as I mentioned before, obviously this has only been one game played to some of these teams, so it's definitely a big drastic change if you win one or lose one. But as the season goes on, it definitely may change. And looking at where actually, their matchup, which is the Clippers, and how they did over the points, rebounds, and assist department, we did actually see when it came to points allowed, we did see that Clippers do surprisingly rank really, decent, I would say. They do actually rank 14th. So, they are tied 14th, so a little bit on the average side in that sense. When we also look at assists allowed, we also did see that the Clippers did come in at a surprising 30th when it came to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed, they also came tied 16th. So very average to low in all three categories, and that's why we do see someone like Devin Booker being able to go on the over in this situation here. Now, for someone like Devin Booker, we definitely have seen him do a great job and remain a very high usage rate over the last, not even just the most recent game, but also even the preseason. We tend to see that when it came to Phoenix Suns, we actually did see them, really revolve the game around Devin Booker, really get him the touches that he needs to get those points, get those rebounds, and get those assists. And we are expecting him to go on the over on his line, especially against an easier defensive matchup, which is none other than the LA Clippers. Now, people are going to mention that it may still be too early to tell based off rankings, but LA Clippers, when you did watch the game and did watch the footage, you tend to see that their defense is pretty poor. So Devin Booker should be able to take advantage of this coming into this matchup for sure. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for Devin Booker. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially if the line is under his averages. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Desmond Bane. So Desmond Bane, great player, as we all know, and has done a fantastic job so far this season. Now, obviously, it is only one game, but he did actually score 23 points, had 4 rebounds, and also 3 assists there. So very interesting to see. Now, on top of that, we do also know that Orlando Magic have themselves a very, very good matchup against none other than actually, Orlando Hawks. So when you actually look at Atlanta Hawks in the matchup with Orlando Magic, we do know, starting off with Orlando actually won their first game, so they actually did a fantastic job there. But it also put them in a position where they do currently rank second, and they face off against a team which is Atlanta Hawks, who did actually lose their first game and are currently ranked 14th. So very interesting to see there. Obviously, looking at this matchup, we do also know that Atlanta Hawks are a pretty poorly defensive team, as we have known, not just from last season, but also in that first game that they did play. When we look at points, rebounds, and assists allowed, we do see that the Hawks ranked pretty poorly at 29th when it came to points allowed, which is interesting to see there. When we look at assists allowed, we also saw that the Hawks actually ranked 29th and also ranked 29th and tied with others, and then also ranked 28th when it came to rebounds allowed. So very interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, we do also know that Desmond Bane has a really good usage rate, and a high usage rate at that, for his new team Orlando Magic. So we are expecting him coming into this matchup to kind of keep that same sort of high usage rate into this next game, and it shouldn't be too much problem for him to be able to go on the over once again. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Desmond Bane coming into this, matchup. And we definitely see someone like him being able to go on the over, no doubt about it, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. So definitely keep an eye on it for his line. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially if the line is under his averages. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Mikal Bridges. So Mikal Bridges, great player for none other than New York Knicks, and he's actually done a fantastic job, averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, also at a 54.5% field goal percentage. So he has done a great job there. We also do know that the New York Knicks have themselves a great matchup against the Boston Celtics, and it is definitely going to be an exciting game. Now, looking at where both of these teams do actually lie, starting off with Boston Celtics, we did see Boston actually, lose their first game, which actually puts them at ranked 8th in the actual Eastern Conference, and they face off against the New York Knicks, who did win their first game, but they also only ranked 7th, so only one above. So when we look at this matchup, we do know that Boston aren't really the same team that they were last season, and it definitely does show. But their defense has remained strong in points, as they did actually rank 9th when it came to points allowed, which surprised a lot of people. They ranked 10th when it came to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed, they still ranked 10th. So although, people have said Boston Celtics aren't the same Boston Celtics as we do know, we actually have seen them, remain as a very strong defensive team. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone of Mikal Bridges, although he is a great player, we definitely see him going on the under, as what we have seen with actually, Boston Celtics so far. We tend to see their defense be really airtight, especially against, the guard or even small forward position. So, we tend to see Mikal Bridges kind of switch between those two positions. So we are expecting a lot of defensive pressure to be on him, which could definitely lead to a lot of problems for him, when it comes to this matchup. So that's why we do like the under for this situation here. I don't really think you need to focus on any, as Mikal Bridges, it is his second game of the season, so we are expecting a lot of the lines to be a little bit overinflated or underinflated depending on which player and which pick. But for this one, we are expecting the lines to come out pretty high, since he had a really, really good game against Cleveland. But against Boston, it may be a different story, as our defense has remained very well. So for that reason, we are definitely liking the under for this one. So keep an eye out for Mikal Bridges' line. See a lot of value there to go on the under, especially if the line is too close to his averages. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about DeAndre Ayton. So DeAndre Ayton, we do know, has done a fantastic job, so far this season. But we have seen him average 10 points, 6 rebounds, 0 assists. Also has a 71.4% field goal percentage. So it is pretty, interesting to see when it comes to this, that we actually do know that Los Angeles Lakers have themselves a really good matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, both of these teams are coming in pretty strong, because the Western Conference has been a really, really tough sort of conference. But Timberwolves do currently rank 3rd in the Western Conference. They actually have a 1-win, 0-loss record. And they face off against Lakers, who did lose their first game, and is actually 0-1. So pretty interesting to see there. Now, looking at the Lakers and also the Timberwolves matchup, and looking more, in depth when it came to Timberwolves defense. Timberwolves defense actually ranked them 5th in assists when it came to the first game. It also put them, when it came to assists allowed, 16th, and then rebounds allowed, we actually saw them rank 8th. Now, coming into this matchup, we do actually like the under for someone like DeAndre Ayton. And the big reason being is that although Timberwolves do rank a little bit lower in assists, DeAndre Ayton isn't really an assist, or playmaker type guy. And we are expecting him to go on the under in his other lines that he does a lot more usage rate for, like points and rebounds. However, we also do know when it comes to, DeAndre Ayton and Los Angeles Lakers, this matchup against Timberwolves are definitely going to put the pressure, as they have done a fantastic job at restricting points and rebounds so far in their first game. So coming into this next one, we do very, very much like the under for this situation here. And we definitely like the under for someone like DeAndre Ayton, especially in the points and rebounds department, as he does play for the Lakers, where Luka is going to do a lot of kind of everything, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. And we tend to see when it comes to Luka that Luka's usage rate remains very high, and Ayton's usage rate is really dependent on how, Luka, Austin Reeves, how these players play. So we aren't really trusting it that much. That's why we do like the under for this situation here. So keep an eye out for DeAndre Ayton's line. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially if the line is too close to his averages.